G'day everyone, Scott here from One Green Thumb Gardening in Toowoomba. Today I just wanted to show you a biosecurity weed here in Australia. It's called Madeira Vine, also known as potato vine. So it's this one here that's got these long stringy flowers. Sorry, I can't get much closer. There is a shit ton of cobbler's pegs. Farmers' friends, whatever you want to call them. So I can't quite get a close-up of the flower. The same with that guy right there. So this here is the neighbouring property to who we look after. This stuff was right through a lot of their gardens. We've reduced it by 90% and it is now just about to come back into seed. Oh, here we go. So that's the flower, and it's got an elongated heart-shaped leaf. It's actually quite leathery feeling, similar to, what's that spinach? New Zealand spinach. Doesn't have a smell. Bad choice. There's still some coming back through here into the property we look after. You can see it there. And also it's in amongst another biosecurity pest known as cat's claw. That's not cat's claw, but I'll show you down here. The cat's claw, we've just left it because it's not quite as bad on this property. If we remove it, you're just going to have this ugly looking mess. But it drops a heap of tubers, which I'll show you in a minute. But I found a beautiful spot where there's a whole heap just starting to sprout up. So all this here, and it's got a tuber on the bottom. And the worst thing is you've got to actually take the tuber out. Like that. Otherwise it just keeps growing. And the worst thing is you pull on it and it will snap off. Tuber's still in the ground and it just keeps growing. So here's another example. And like we spent hours going through here and just tried to pull out these tubers. And I can tell you there's still a million left in this ground. So what I do here is I'll just go with Glyphosate mixed in with starane. And I just spot spray as much of this Madeira vine as I can. Because like to do this now, it's just going to take too long. So I can kind of find, especially when they're at this size, just go along, spot spray, spot, away you go. And take out a lot of the suckers. If I have one that is growing up in through another plant, I will generally do a basal swipe. So where I will, don't have any that are large enough here, but we'd basically find where it is, we'd scrape it with a knife, use the back side of a knife so you don't cut it in half, and then apply Glyphosate. We use a product called Vigilant. I don't know what the active ingredient is. But that will kill it. There we go. So this is the cat's claw down here. This one here. And it'll stick to you. So if we were to remove that, we would just have the ugliness from behind. So I know that it's a biosecurity pest, but it's contained to here, and I mean the neighbours aren't containing it, so there's not much we can really do about it. It's going to just keep growing. So I'll show you how bad the tubers get on this Madeira vine if I don't fall down the steps. All right, down through the billy goat track. All right, here's one that I seen yesterday. Now, these tubers will just fall off and they will just sprout straight away. I don't know if it sprouts from seed or not, but you can see just the vast amount of tubers. So every one of these that drops goes into the ground and basically creates a new vine in the right conditions. I mean, if they're smothered, they may not sprout, but this is where it's a serious pest. If you're like, say, in a canopy here, and you can put a tarpaulin underneath or a sheet or a towel or whatever to try and minimize the amount of tubers that go into the ground, it is definitely advised. And so you can pretty well see there's not a great deal coming up there, although it is quite tricky to manage it in amongst all that stuff when it's so overgrown. Yet you've got similar vines with similar leaf shape but different textures. Like this one here is another elongated heart-shaped leaf, totally different plant, different seed pods, beautiful little flowers. I don't know what it is. It could be a pest, but it's not. Stay tuned to the next video on wood borers. Look at them all. Anyway, so down through here was just a ton of Madeira vine, and we cut all these bougainvilleas back so that we could get amongst the retaining wall and everything. As I said, it's a bit hard to get them all. There is hundreds and hundreds of tubers that just get left behind. And then into, well, there's a nice decent size one. Look at that sucker. So, oh, there's another big tuber. So that's what they'll look like. Now, you can eat them. They were part of the Chinese diet for over 2,000 years ago. They've also got a pretty flower, so that's where they've come from to be imported into Australia. Here's another plant with a heart-shaped leaf. Different plant. Don't know what it is. But from the ground, it nearly looks the same. Madeira vine, other plant. I'll take you with me because I don't want you back here. So yeah, we've pretty well mostly got most of it out of there. It's all through this garden. There was a massive big one up the side of this shed with a rose bush mixed in with wisteria, mixed in with jasmine. So you can see all them tubers in there. So I ain't going in there to get those tubers out. But it was all the way up the trees, you can see. And that's where what will happen is the sheer weight of this stuff is phenomenal. It'll climb up a tree and then the weight will just collapse the canopy of the tree, and it just decimates forests through suffocation by bringing down trees and just covering the ground and smothering everything under it. All right, recap. If you can, dig them all out, as many as you can out by hand. Spray Glyphosate, Roundup, or starane. I can't remember the active ingredient to starane. Or another product is Vigilant. It's also registered for Madeira Vine. But as soon as you see these little fellas coming up, spray or pull them out straight away. I generally, when they're this small, I generally prefer to spray, because then if I snap it, then I've got to come back and try and find the little sucker again if I can't dig it out. So spraying when they're, you'll find the best method. Alrighty, if there's any more information I can help you with, drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching One Green Thumb Gardening. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and catch you next time. See ya.